Welcome back to the On Track video cast. I am your host, Karen Martell, and today I have something a little bit different for you because last month I had my 42nd birthday, and I have been feeling since I pretty much turned 40 that, things are starting to change, and I didn't think that it would bother me, but it is. So today I have brought in a anti-aging expert, Darnell Cox. She is the leading anti-aging expert and blogger of Live Young Lifestyle. Her mission is to attack the aging process from every angle, mind, body, and spirit. Welcome, Darnell.
Karen, how fun. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yay. Yeah, so you're a first because I'm all about the nutrition and I do lots about the emotions and the spirit, but I don't often integrate anti-aging, the outside stuff, with the inside stuff, and you do. So tell me why you chose to get into this, Darnell.
I didn't think it was a choice. I think I was one of those girls that came out of the womb like looking for chapstick and trying to heal baby cankles. So I think it's just been something that has always been in me. But I majored in psychology, so I was always really interested in that kind of mind connection with the body. I have a master's in psychology, but I've raised 3 kids and I didn't really work other than trying to raise 3 pretty good kids. So in doing that, I put my side, and when my friends were younger and we were all having kids, our outsides looked spectacular and our insides were like, who the hell are we? What are we doing? What do we do with this? So I was coaching my friends along the way, and then there was a turning point. Like, you just turned 42. There was a turning point, and I realized that my friends we had our insides kind of together as far as our careers and our kids and where we wanted to go. And some of us were reinventing ourselves, but our outsides were like melting and shriveling up. So it was kind of like, this was never a point where everything was really intact at the same time. So I started then changing what I was helping people with as far as life goals and stuff like that. And it became like, what do you put on your skin to look like you do at 50? I just turned 50. What is it? How do you lose the weight after you have babies? There's just a lot of different things that are involved in aging. And like you said, it's not just, you can't just throw a magic potion on the outside.
No.
It's gonna change everything, because if your insides aren't good, it's also connected. So what you eat, which I'm sure that's a lot of what you do, but what you eat really shows on the outside. And your skin is your largest organ you have. So it is a really big indicator of how healthy we are. The foods you eat, the type of exercise you do, where you are in your life, and how you are handling aging. What do your bucket lists include? What goals do you have? How satisfied are you in your relationship? All of that stuff shows on our outside. We can lose hair. Our skin can become crepey and dry based on stress. If you're not sleeping enough, it's all very connected. And in addition, if you look good on the outside, it makes you feel better on the inside. And anybody who's ever had a good hair day knows what I'm talking about. If you have a good hair day, or you're like getting in those skinny jeans just a little bit easier, you're not gonna like find yourself on the couch and face down in a bag of Doritos. You're gonna like get out there in the world. You're gonna want to run into every ex-boyfriend you ever had. It changes what you do. So your insides are connected to your outsides, and your outsides, how you feel about how you look, it changes what you do with your life. So it's all very connected.
It is. And that's so, because I talk a lot about stress to the ladies that follow me, and they all know I probably talk about it too much. So we're going to talk about it again, because this has to do with what's going on as far as aging skin, because you're right. Stress creates inflammation. Inflammation has got to be one of the worst things, isn't it?
It's the worst thing for aging. It's also the cornerstone for every disease. So even if you're eating foods that are inflammatory, it's showing in your skin. But if you're also not protecting your skin from the sun and from oxidation and all of those things, it's also internally it's affecting you. So it's this very big cycle. But stress is a big part of it. And I think we're in a over caffeinated, run world where people are not sleeping 8 hours. And I'm going to tell you what, I can tell a difference if I do not sleep 8 hours. You need your cells to be able to rest so that they can regenerate themselves. And a lot of that stuff, cleaning out your liver and different things like that, we need to be resting for 8 hours a day. So I think that, you know, we're very much in America, especially lacking that. And that causes weight gain, and it causes extra stress. And then you become overwhelmed and everything shows in your skin.
Yeah, you know, women are always coming to me looking for what's the best next diet, what should I be eating? And I always say, if you don't deal with your stress, it's going to be so challenging to lose weight, because it drives you to eat more. It drives you to crave sugar and salt. And you don't, you know, when you're stressed out, you don't feel like doing anything. You don't sleep well, which then slows down the metabolism. It really does have to come first. And obviously with the aging stuff, it does as well, right? And I want to take a little thing from your blog that I read, because I loved it. I just loved it. I could just hear you in this. Suddenly, a single mom, I began to look around and recognize that my peers were all going through some sort of life crisis. Our conversations reflected the changes we were going through inside and out. We weren't falling apart, but we weren't spring chickens either. We were beginning to deal with the emotional gravity of life and the physical effects of gravity. Yeah. I love it. I love that.
Thank you. But I think I think that's true. It's really hard. You know, there are times when I pass by a mirror and I feel like I'm 25 inside. And I pass by the mirror, I'm like, oh, okay. 25. Or you look like a magnifying mirror. And there becomes like this separation, how you feel on the inside and how you look on the outside.
Yes.
And what I do is I try to, in my work, bridge that gap a little bit. So if somebody isn't feeling youthful on their insides, I will sit here and talk to you for 3 hours and tell you tips that you can do to make you feel youthful on the inside. It really starts with bucket lists. It starts with learning something new every day. There's this weird thing that happens to us. I remember when I was like 9 years old, and when I was turning 10, I was always looking forward to like getting older, because there was something that happened. So I was going to be double digits. And then when you were 13, it's like, oh my God, I'm a teenager. And then you could drive at 16, and you could vote at 18, and you could drink at 21. And then you like start a family or get your education and do all this stuff. And it's like, what big milestone do I have now? It's just the big numbers. It's the 30, it's the 40, it's the 50, which I just turned. So, you know, it becomes like these big numbers. But what you do in between those numbers, the candles on your cake, and how you become excited to have that next birthday, is you have to continue to look at it in a child's eye of, what's the next thing that I get to do? And for me, that has always been creating this bucket list, which I've had since 1994. It's 4 pages long. I cross 2 things off every year. And I make a goal, like before I turn 45, I'm going to run a marathon. And I did. It's very written out in my face. Every time I open a drawer to get a coaster in my family room, if I'm going to plop on the couch and watch TV and open the drawer to get a coaster, my bucket list is in the drawer. So it's like, what have you done for me lately, kind of thing. And I think that is a way to internally kind of keep us excited about the coming years. And that's half the battle. Because when you look in the mirror and we're not at our aesthetic prime, we can be at our internal prime, and we can feel better than we did in our youth. There's so much more technology now and information as far as, you know, what we're supposed to eat and things that we can do, and age appropriate exercise. And people are becoming more health conscious. Although there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of information out there that becomes overwhelming. And so that's part of what I do too. I kind of cut through the BS and tell people what really works and what doesn't, and don't follow this. And, you know, and I always point to the whole, you know, the whole non-fat craze that happened when Americans all got obese because we just started eating sugar. So there's all of that in the anti-aging field, and also in the nutrition field and in the exercise field. There's crazes that happen, and people are so hungry to make change that they jump on these big things instead of just starting small. Like when somebody comes to me and says, I don't know what to do. I've never taken care of my skin. I always say, start small. If I gave you my skincare routine, so I'm out. There's no way I'm going to do this. But if you start small, so I would say, are you using sunscreen? Are you using Retin A at night? Because if you could only use 2 products in the entire world, one is to protect it from the sun, so a sunscreen. The second is for cell turnover, which is a retinoid product. So if you do nothing else, I always start people with those 2 things. Now, there's things to add, but those are like non-negotiable. But yes,
now, just before we get into that, I just want to say, I don't know, have you watched the documentary, The Shift?
No, I have not.
Okay. You're going to have to watch it because it's exactly what you're talking about. Do you know Wayne Dyer?
Yes, I have heard of him.
Yeah, so he's passed away now, I think last year or the year before, but world-renowned life coach and motivational speaker. He was very wise, and he did this little documentary. So for those that are listening, this is, I highly suggest watching it. It's like part of every regime that I give my clients is you have to watch the movie, The Shift. Okay. And he talks about this time in our lives where we go through shifts, and there's a shift that happens when women are in their 40s, 50s that starts to happen because it's the time when, we've had our kids, we're either keeping the husband or getting rid of them, we're keeping the job or switching jobs. And for the first time in our life, we start to think about what we want. And it really, I think that you were just talking about exactly that shift. And even in that statement that I read from your website, that's what it reminded me of is, here we are, we're going through this shift, and exactly what you said about we feel so good on the inside in a sense, like we're finally looking at what we want, but yet the outside doesn't match so much.
Well, I think because we spend, especially as women, we spend so many years caring for other people, whether it's, our husband or raising our kids, or even trying to figure out if we're not, if we don't have a husband, we don't have kids, we're then trying to solidify ourselves in this workforce that is oftentimes against us. But our focus is always somewhere else. I think what happens when we turn 40 and we start looking at those big numbers and our kids have kind of grown up a little bit more, or our job is a little bit more solidified, it's only then that we start looking inside and we get our shit together. And then but the outside doesn't match. What do we do then? So I do think that there is a shift. There's an internal shift, and we start feeling better about ourselves, but it's all connected. So we have to take care of it from every side.
Yeah. So, okay, well, let's get into the nitty gritty then, shall we?
Okay.
Give me your skincare regime. I want to know. You look amazing. You're so gorgeous. What are you doing?
Smoke and mirrors. It's quite extensive, but I did, I have a YouTube, it is quite extensive, but I test products all the time. So there are certain things that I think they're non-negotiable, like things that you really have to do. I am coming out with the video that I'm coming out with on my very next, I think it should be posted on Monday, is my nighttime skincare routine.
Okay.
All the products, because I've had people ask a lot, and although I change my routine a lot because I do test out products, the theory behind each product is the same. So the concept of what it does and what I think your skin needs is the same. I might try to change out a product to see which one is better, because there's a lot of marketing behind products, and good skin doesn't have to cost a fortune. In fact, oftentimes it doesn't.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah, so
about.
It doesn't, because we get tricked into buying, thinking that if we buy something that's like a big name brand, that it's great. The more expensive it is, the better. No, my theory is if somebody is making eyeshadow or a handbag, you should not be buying anti-aging cream for them, because they are not putting in the science behind that. They're white labeling it, and they're selling they're selling the name on the container, and not necessarily the quality of the ingredients that are inside. So part of what I do is I cut through all that BS, but that video will be out on Monday on Live Young Lifestyle's YouTube channel. But I'll just tell you, like, basically at night, don't waste your money on a cleanser because you wash it off of your face. There's no reason why we should be spending more than $6 on a face cleanser. So I use Physoderm, which is a pH balance. It's literally $6.50 on Amazon. I've used it since I was a teenager. Have I tried the other cleansers, like from big name brand department stores? And like, you know, yes, I have. I don't think that they work any better. And the goal is to get everything off your face. So if a cheaper product without the perfumes, without the dyes, without the marketing is getting everything off of your face, that's what you should be using. So don't waste your money on a cleanser. Go for something that's basic, that takes everything off. The second thing is you need to be using a retinoid or a Retin A product. Now, you can get like a rock retinoid product, like a nighttime renewal cream or something like that at a Rite Aid or any sort of pharmacy that's just over the counter for like 15 bucks. Is it as strong as a prescription? No, but that's your first step. If you've never taken care of your skin, I always say start at the drugstore level.
Yeah.
Then see a dermatologist and get a prescription for Retin A. Now, a prescription for Retin A is not a pretty thing. It's like a white tube with like a sticker on it, okay? That is like...
It's not pretty packaging, you know,
not,
FYI.
Gets the job done. And in fact, if you're in Mexico, you can buy it at the airport, at the Farmacia for $25. Seriously.
I love it. I love it.
It will last you months and months and months. So if you see a retinoid product that you have not gotten from a dermatologist, it's not with a prescription, it's not as strong. So you're paying for fillers, you're paying for perfumes, you're paying for stuff to make it seem like it's nice to put on. Retin A is not nice to put on. You're literally putting like a pea-sized drop on your hand, and you're putting little dots all over your face, and you're rubbing in. It doesn't smell like anything. It's not easy to spread around. But it does the job, and it's the only thing that has been clinically proven to reduce wrinkles, stimulate collagen, stimulate cell turnover. It's like the holy grail of skincare.
Wow. I'm sold.
Yeah.
Darnell, I'm sold. I never bought it before, ever. My skincare regime is like soap and water, and I have this homemade cream that I make, and that's what goes on my face, and that's what I've done for 20 years.
Okay, oh my gosh, boy, do we have some ground to cover.
I know, right? Oh, no. I know, I'm ready.
It's okay, but I'm going to tell you, if you start on it, the problem that people have with Retin A, especially if you've not been used to your skin turning over, is that because of the irritation that it causes and the redness that it causes at first, people often give it up. And it's very important that you understand the steps to gradually get into using Retin A. So if you were to get a prescription strength of a 0.05, which is, I use a 0.05, but I would start with a 0.025%, which is also prescription strength. It doesn't come with any of the fancy filler, you know, all the perfumes and stuff. If you started with that once a week, and you did it once a week, like let's say you did it every Saturday night after you came home from your night out, washed your face all off, did your Retin A. Sunday or Monday, you might be a tiny bit peely, not a big deal. You recover for that whole week, you do it again. Then you go, once your skin is used to that, twice a week, then 3 times a week. And you gradually get up to, and if you feel like, oh my gosh, this is too irritating, I'm flaky, back off of it for a couple days and then start again. But you have to be persistent in that I'm going to use this product. Like you're not persistent in I'm going to use it every day. I'm going to make my skin to the point where it can handle this product, because no matter how much skin cream you put on the top of your skin, this is a big misperception with anti-aging. When we get older, we get dry. And so we think we need to add moisture. But if you add moisture to the outside of your skin, what you're doing is you're signaling to that inner layer, oh, I have enough moisture, I don't need to make it myself. And your skin becomes lazy. And so your cells build up. You don't have that turnover. The reason why when we get older, well, first of all, hormonal and all of that stuff, it changes our skin. But what we want to do, the best thing you can do for anti-aging is to dry your skin out, even if you have dry skin. You dry, you dry, you dry, it exfoliates, it creates cell turnover, it makes those underneath skin cells want to make moisture. And that's how our skin behaves like it did when it was in its 20s. We stopped making collagen at the age of 25. So we think we get hooked on these creams because we put them on, we still feel dry, we put them on. We're literally wasting every single moisturizer you're putting on your face. Just think, my skin's getting lazy, my skin's getting lazy, my skin's getting lazy. And that's the exact opposite of what you want to do. So if you use a retinoid product and your skin is flaky and you're really having that cell turnover, and then you feel like, okay, I want to put a little bit of something else on top of it. The only time I ever use a moisturizer is if I'm already doing something to really work at it underneath. Then it's okay sometimes to use a moisturizer until you get to the point where, okay, now I can use the Retin A again. And then you go on along that path. So it's one of the biggest misconceptions of anti-aging is that you need to moisturize. No,
yes,
we don't. We didn't moisturize our skin when we were 12 years old and 13 years old. We didn't. And Retin A, believe it or not, all the products that have been known to cure wrinkles, to literally get rid of wrinkles, are made for acne. Retin A was designed for pimple-faced teenagers. That's what it was designed for. And then they realized when they used it on women that were going through hormonal changes, and they prescribed it to them when they were like in their 30s or 40s, it also helped reduce wrinkles. So then they did studies on it. And now it's literally the only product that is proven to reduce wrinkles. And you can use it, they won't tell you this, but you can use it right up to your eyes. It will migrate in the middle of the night. So you don't want to put it right along your bottom lash line, but you can put it right up here and it will get rid of crow's feet. You can use it on top of, like right underneath your eyebrow, and it will get rid of that saggy, crepey eyelid that we get when we're older.
Oh my God. I can't believe that.
$20 at Pharmacia in Mexico. That's like the cheapest you can get it. But and it's a good quality product. I've tested all of them. But if you go to your local dermatologist and say, I want a 0.025% Retin A, use that until that bottle is gone, then go up to the 0.05, gradually get your skin used to it, you will see a difference. It helps with pore size, fine lines and wrinkles, elasticity, tone, texture. It's like a cure-all. Holy grail. Okay. So
holy jeez, I didn't even know that. This is just blowing my mind. I love it so much. What about exfoliation? Are we exfoliating at all?
Yeah, we are. So in the morning I do, because especially if you're using Retin A and you get like a little flaky, I use a scrub. You don't want a big scrub. Like, I used to use like that apricot scrub when I was like a teenager. No, They make really fine grain ones now. You do want to scrub your face, because another thing about anti-aging is you have to think of it like when we were younger and our faces were literally growing, we had to make skin cells. Our collagen was being stimulated. When we got older and we stopped making it at the age of 25, we have to create those little microtraumas in our skin that then signal our body to produce collagen in that area. So exfoliating, creating those little micro tears in your skin, stimulates collagen. Retinoids, Retin A, because it is exfoliating, creates little you can't see them, but little micro trauma in your skin. So it's the same thing as if you fall down, you skin your knee after riding your bicycle, it makes a scab. It's the same concept, but in a microscopic level, but you're stimulating collagen. So there's other ways to do that besides the scrubs that you should do in the morning, the Retin A that you should do at night. I personally microneedle around my eyes with a beauty stamp. It's just, I don't know if you've seen them. They look like a medieval torture device. It's like a roller with literally that's what it looks like. But it's small and they're little microscopic, 1 millimeter, steel pins that you roll on your skin. It doesn't hurt. It's just kind of like shaving. You get used to it. Like when you shaved, you kind of had a few nicks. Now you can shave your legs in the dark and you'd be fine. Just kind of get it. So it's the same with that. Like you kind of have to be careful at first because you are rolling like a steel thing of needles on your, think of hell face, right? You're literally rolling the needles on your face. But if you do that every Sunday night, okay, so I usually do it Saturday, I do it Saturday night or Sunday morning. And then but you can't even see it. So you can literally put makeup over the top of it, or you can just sleep that night and don't have anything on your skin, and you've created those micro traumas. So there's a stamp that I use around the eyes because I'm kind of afraid to roll, but I roll my entire face, my stomach, the back of the arms, knees, because we all know the knees go south, right? When we turn like 40, it's like, that is not my knee. And that's not my elbow. So you kind of have to stimulate the collagen there as well. It's not just, it's not just here. It's your big organ. So you kind of want to, it's a head to toe thing. And that's like $20 on Amazon.
I just can't, I can't help but think, because so many women are going to watch this and they're going to be on Amazon finding their microneedler, and they're going to start doing this every night, myself included. And I just had this thought of my husband walking in on me and watching me do this. And I'm thinking, as if, like, how many men would go to the extent that we do as women? It's not fair. I'm still going to do it, even though I don't think that's fair. Right. We have so much more pressure on us about aging. Yeah. But it's
and that's just the reality of it, that we're supposed to be the pretty creatures. So we put this kind of on ourselves, and I oftentimes have people visit my YouTube channel that kind of slam me, just age, just age gracefully and don't do all that stuff. And I'm fine with who I am. And I always tell them, you're on the wrong channel. Like, that's not what I'm about. I'm about trying to help people look as good as on the outside as they feel on the inside. And sometimes that means you have to microneedle your face. Yeah. I mean, the reality of it.
Well, and it's true. And I thought I was going to be someone that would just kind of accept it as it came along. And like I said, I honestly have noticed such a change. And now I'm in the, okay, you know what? I've gotten away with it to this point. I'm lucky. I do have great skin. I've always looked young. I eat well, so it shows up in my face. And there's things that now I'm like, okay, I want to take that next step, because I feel like we live this one life. Our youth is only here for so long. And I can see the end of that now, where there's going to be no turning back. There won't be any creams, or it doesn't matter how much microneedling I'm going to have. There's going to come a time where none of that will matter, right? Yeah. So not as much.
Well, yeah, there's a time when I think you just go like, okay, I give up. I mean, for me, that's probably going to be like 90. And I'm fine with that. There will be that time. But for now, I feel like I'm 25. And for me, just like how, I trick myself into being excited for every birthday. And I truly am excited for every birthday. This year, I'm going to do a Spartan race with my son. So I do a goal. I do something every year that I get to cross something off. And that's what tricks the inside into living a very youthful life. But if you want to look the part on the outside, or not get shocked in the mirror, or not, have that kind of sigh like, God, those can't be my eyes. And you want to kind of bridge that gap between how you look and how you feel. You have to trick yourself on the outside as well. So that is like stimulating collagen in ways that it helps us produce it, and it helps our skin act more like it did when it was 25. So that's microneedling, that's dry brushing. That's not putting moisture, that's drying your skin out like we did when we were teenagers and had pimples. That's what actually will help our skin act like it did in its youth. And I'm not a big proponent of like everybody going out and getting plastic surgery and all of that. But what I am somebody who says, if it's going to make you feel better, and this is something you want to do, whether you want to go and buy a derma roller for $20 on Amazon, whether you want to go to the pharmacy and get your Retin A, I'm here to guide you along those paths. And for those that don't want to do that, that's fantastic. I have bravo. That's
Yeah.
that's not in the realm where I live. And I like it when people that, you know, I've given them a skincare regimen, because I also do consulting, one-on-one consulting, and I've given them a skincare regimen, or I've put them on like an intermittent fasting diet. And this one client that I have in Texas lost 45 pounds. She was going through a very stressful, tragedy. I can't even begin. But she did let me share her story, but she lost 2 of her kids. So she went through a tragedy and gained all of this weight, let herself go. She's lost 45 pounds. She's doing the skincare regimen that I told her to do. She just feels like she's alive again. And I love that kind of stuff. And sometimes, you know, making your insides feel like you want to do more, you kind of have to start on the outside, you know? So
yeah, I agree. I like that. Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. So what about things like, so I'm going to ask you very specifically about a few of the, you know, hottest trends right now. One of them being the intense light pulse therapy, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. Like where they're, do you do that?
Yes. Yeah. Because, you know, it's weird because as a kid, like in the 80s, you know, when we all laid out in the sun and baked ourselves. So we were like,
was me.
Dog, me too. But I always protected my face. I don't know why. I laid out with a towel on my face and my body was like brown. This is a spray tan, by the way. This is not my color.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm like, underneath all of this, I'm like Snow White. Like you really protect yourself from the sun. But IPL laser is what you're talking about.
Yes.
And it's laser. It feels a little bit like rubber bands. Now I did a whole video, a 7-minute video on my YouTube channel about I think it was called Bye Bye Sunspots. But I did a whole procedure where they did all the sunspots on my back and my chest. It actually works. It takes more than one treatment. So you'll need like a series of 3, but it is a way to get rid of all the little spots and sun discolorations that happens because it starts at like well below the surface. And as we age, all of a sudden things start showing up. So I probably do that treatment twice a year, but I always do it in the winter because it does leave marks on you for a while. So what happens is all of your little freckles and little marks get darker. They come to the surface and they kind of slough off. Well, it's not very pretty for the first few days. And so you kind of like, I kind of do a turtleneck kind of thing for like a week. And then they do lighten up. And it's all kind of maintenance, you know, as far as the spots and stuff, because the more spots that you have, especially if you get them on your shoulders, we get discoloration in our chest area. It does make us look a little bit older when our skin is a little bit blotchier. So IPL is a laser treatment that I do believe in. I did a video on it. The newest one is the Pico, and that is a laser that also can be used on ethnic olive colored skin.
Okay.
So the IPL cannot, because it sees the difference between a dark spot and the white. So the more contrast you have, the more it picks it up. But the iPico now they've made for ethnic skin. So that's also,
wow.
Yeah. And it helps with melasma. So like a lot of women after they give birth, they get this melasma kind of.
I had that.
The IPL is perfect for that.
Yeah, it comes out in the sun. Unlike you, I'm still a bit of a sun baby, but I know you're probably just shaking right now, all these things I'm telling you. But I do get that, like it'll come out, it looks like I have a birthmark almost on my forehead that's still from pregnancy from 6 years ago. But yeah, I have little spots of it.
But if you did a full face IPL, you did 3 treatments, it would help, but you really have to then use sunscreen. And you know what? I have, it's back there in my drawer. They make.
You have your sunscreen in your nightstand just in case?
No, I have 3 sunscreens on my dresser in my bathroom. But back here, I'm testing out this pill. They've made a pill now for people that are very sensitive to the sun. Because I've done so many peels on my face and the blue peel. I've done IPL. So I'm one of those freaks that walks around with a sun umbrella. Like I'm that bad. And I admit it, I own that. But but there are times like when you're snorkeling or when you're out on a boat or something and you just, there's only so much you can do that. So there are these pills that they have now. I think it starts with an H, kilo. I don't know. It's an oral sunscreen that you take for people that have a lot of sun sensitivity.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm going to test it. I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, that kind of sounds scary a little bit.
That is a way that, well, no, it's not. It makes sense. It does make, it kind of makes a little bit of scientific sense, but I'll test it out for you and I'll keep you posted. But it's a way to kind of still be outdoorsy and get out in the sun, but still wear a hat, but in those times, you know, you at least protected. And
so do you take this is my nutritionist coming out of me. Do you take vitamin D supplementation then to make up for it? Yeah.
I mean, I try to get everything in my food. I feel like I do eat really healthy. I wrote a blog called Eat Your Way to Better Skin. And it's amazing how much, like, if you eat for your skin, it's good for your insides. And if you're eating for your insides, like what's just healthy, it shows up in your skin. So, but yeah, so I do take vitamin D. That's one of the things that I take. But I did come out with recently an anti-aging vitamin that's like in these little packets. So
yeah, what are your favorite internal things the vitamins and foods and stuff that you would be on the top of your list for anti-aging?
Salmon, for sure.
Yeah.
And cantaloupe. I like the vitamin A's because I think those really show in your skin. So I eat a lot of cantaloupe and a lot of like raw nuts and things like that. Fatty fish. So those are all things that they're like a staple for me. Yeah. And then I do take supplements. Feels like we might be losing connection.
Yeah, it went a little bit funny there. I could hear you, so you may have been frozen on the screen, but
I did come out with an anti-aging vitamin, which I sell on my website, livingalifestyle.com. And I was one of those people that I would, at the end of the day, after I've eaten everything I'm going to eat, I'd go like, okay, what did I miss today? And D was always in there. And I'd figure out, okay, did I have fatty fish? And I'd pick out my vitamins accordingly. Well, my vitamin cabinet was like, literally, I had them alphabetized.
Oh yeah, I know.
That's how bad it was. So then I started working with a bioavailable vitamin company in Florida called Zymogen and came up with a daily packet. So when I travel, if I feel like, you know, I just need like some more supplements, I'll take one of those daily packets, and it has a fish oil, it has an antioxidant, a really strong antioxidant, a bioavailable a multivitamin, and biotin, and it's in this little packet. So I throw it in my purse sometimes, or when I travel, instead of bringing the big Ziploc bag through security, I now just have these little packets of vitamins that I bring.
I'm like the grandma that has like the little each day with the little lids. That's what I carry around, one of those in my purses. So, but yeah, that's good. That's kind of what I take too. Like I make sure I get my fish oils in, always good probiotic. I don't take a ton. I take some anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, natural stuff to help. But I would have to say that I know you agree. It is so much to do with that anti-inflammatory foods and the good high-fat foods, the good ones.
Yes, absolutely. Anything that comes in a box in a bag it's gonna cause inflammation in your body. Like we're just not supposed to eat something like that. So I'm not gonna say that I never. But I really try not to eat processed food. I do, I tried to be vegetarian for a little bit, but I think we have canines for a reason. And I don't feel well when I'm not eating meat. So I do eat, and I grew up on a farm. So but I do eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and I do eat meats. I do, you know, it's all pasture raised and grass fed, and I eat a lot of bison. And things like that. So, yeah. When I went paleo about 7 years ago, I went through a period of time where it was like I was reversing my aging. It was every year I looked younger, and I would have people constantly saying something about my skin and how clear my eyes were. And I really think because I was being so affected, I had so many problems in my digestive system and in my body from eating grains that when I removed them and just upped those, and I came from the whole low fat era, right? I was never allowed fat as a kid and in any way, shape, or form. So to suddenly put in all these good fats, take out these inflammatory grains, it reversed my skin. Truly, it reversed my skin and my aging process. And I see it happen in my clients all the time. And I'm not
by any means saying that vegetarianism is bad, because I'm a person that believes that everybody has their own diet. It's what I do. But for me, that's what worked.
Same with me. And I try to be a vegetarian once a week just for environmental reasons, because I do think that kind of, you know, the meat industry has a lot to do with the pollution in the air. But that's just one day a week, just kind of like I feel like, okay, I can do this. I'll just eat a bunch of vegetables and fruit that day. But I'm totally a meat eater. Other than that, 6 days a week, I have to eat some meat, and I don't feel well if I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think that if people gave up grains, like I think, you know, with the whole farming industry and the beginning of us in agriculture as a species, we've just gained and gained and gained and gained.
Yeah, we have.
I don't think we're supposed to eat that much grain. I mean,
no, I don't think so either. And if we do eat it, I think it should be prepared properly, fermented or soaked, or in little amounts, and non-GMO and things like that. I've been reading tons about GMO and what it's doing to, you know, make us gain weight, and it just, you know, we could go on forever about that. So tell us a little bit about your YouTube video cast. I love it. You go into a whole bunch of different areas of anti-aging, from microblading to food but tell us a little bit about it and where people can find you.
Okay, so I started the YouTube channel probably, I want to say 18 months ago, and I kind of felt I'm a writer. Like, I love to write. The blog started as a written form, but people responded more to me just getting on camera and talking. So I started doing that. And now I very consistently put out a video, like I would say I aim for 7 days, but it's like no longer than 10. It depends on the length of the video. Like the nighttime routine one that I'm going to be posting on Monday is a little bit longer video, so it's taken me a little bit longer. I was trying to get that out on Friday. But anyways, so every week I post something, and it's anything to do with anti-aging. So I interview the top dermatologists, plastic surgeons, nutritionists, which is why I said I wanted to interview you if you're ever in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So, and it's everything from, I have 10-minute exercise series, because I don't think you need to spend an hour in the gym. So I think there's a proper way to exercise when you get to be over 40. And so I have a 10-minute exercise series. There's a cooking segment where I take healthy recipes and then I really make them healthy. And then there's, you know, procedures and nips and tucks and things like that. And if I'm not a candidate, I sucker a friend into it, and I film it all, and I cut through all the BS, and I tell you where you can do it and how much it costs and if it hurts and all of that stuff. And I love it. So the YouTube channel is Live Young Lifestyle.
I love it. So we're going to link to that, and I'm going to link specifically to, because by the time this airs, your nighttime regime video will be out. So I will link to that in the show notes so that everybody can go and find out how it is this woman looks as beautiful as she does. And you can subscribe to her on her YouTube channel, and also subscribe on your blog as well if you want. Do you write still, or is it mostly just video?
I do still write. The website is liveyounglifestyle.com, and that's where the vitamins are, and I'll post blogs and stuff that I've written, but also I'll put the videos on there. I just don't get around to it as often. You know, the YouTube is pretty consistent. I'm a little slower on the upkeep with the website, but
right on.
I do still write. There's a lot of information, and also too, sometimes people, like if you see a video on microneedling, which I did my favorite at-home anti-aging apparatuses, and I highlighted microneedling and the New Face, the electrocurrent stimulator, and also Nurse Jamie's Uplift, and I videoed the tutorial on that. But I did feel like, you know, people want to then see the written word of what it is that you need to do and what the technology is of this. So I also have a written form of that that's on liveyounglifestyle.com.
Awesome. I do actually like that too. I like the
stuff out.
Same. I like to see it. When people just do video, I'm like, oh no, give me like the transcript underneath. Because sometimes you just want to burn through it and get the highlights. Yeah.
You're going to, on the nightly regimen, you're going to get the transcript. You'll get the transcript. You'll get the price. You'll get the link.
Love it.
I'm going to tell you, this is a luxury this is a necessity.
Like, yeah, this is necessary.
Build from the necessity. But yeah, I give you all of that stuff.
Okay, I love it. So if you want more tips, you guys know where to go now to go find out exactly all the tips and tricks on anti-aging. I love all of them. I love how you combine the holistic, spirit, physical, emotional piece into anti-aging, and I'm a big proponent of that. So that's great. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Karen. This has been
It was awesome. Yes, and next time I'm in LA, I will come onto your show.
Please, you must, because I want to pick your brain about a few different things.
Definitely.
Now, after we cut, can we like stay on the phone for a little bit? I have some questions.
Yes, of course. All right. Well, thank you so much, and we will have you again on the show.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Bye.